everybody, this is meteorologist Andrew Panera with yet another tropical update. All year I feel like we have had no tropical updates, and all of a sudden we have a big storm to talk about, a deadly storm. The force is with this storm, forceful storm, Hurricane Dorian. It is a Category 5 hurricane right now, and 185 mile per hour sustained winds. The peak wind gusts that they're recording, 220 miles per hour. That is incredible. Now, in terms of wind speed, it is second in the entire history that we have in the Atlantic basin, the Atlantic Ocean. There's only one that said Allen, Hurricane Allen, that reached 190 mile per hour sustained wind. If Dorian does keep strengthening, it could tie for first or become the strongest hurricane ever in the Atlantic in terms of wind speed. Now, in terms of pressure, a little bit different. Pressure, I believe, is around 910 millibar as in going into the top 5. It's not there yet in terms of pressure, so it's in the top 5, but it's not number 1. Wind speed, it's very close to tying number 1 or just becoming the number 1 strongest in terms of wind speed, but still, 185 mile per hour sustained wind. That's incredible. So now, what we're gonna do, I have on my iPad screen here some things I want to take you through over the next couple of minutes. So let's get right to this. So on here, this is the national radar right now. You don't really see too much happening at the moment. The only thing that looks a little bit odd if you do understand weather is in the southeast. Over Florida right now, we're seeing these winds, or not winds, these little pop-up thunderstorms, which is normal for Florida in August or September. It's September now, which is normal for Florida this time of the year. However, if you look at the motion here, it's moving east to west. That's not normal. Normal, if we go a bit more north, we see things like here moving west to east. That's behaving normal. And here in the tri-state area for us, we may be seeing these showers and storms coming through for Labor Day, but I'm going to have a Labor Day video out specific for that. So here, that's normal. That's not normal. And we're getting very close in here to those outer bands of Dorian. We're seeing now the outer bands of Dorian very close to Florida. So let's take another look in here. And what we're seeing, if I put this in motion for right now, yes, there are little pop-up scattered storms here and there, but it's very close. It's very close. Now I'm going to stop the radar, and what I'm going to show here, these outer bands. And I have a friend, he's actually in Hollywood there, which is just a little bit north of Miami. And for him, we're going to do, here are the outer bands of Dorian, straight to where that is roughly 70 miles. That's it. The outer bands of Hurricane Dorian are about 70 miles from the coast of Florida. Southern Florida, but still. That is super close. And if you're thinking, oh, this is going to blow over, don't think that at all. Because even if the eye doesn't exactly get on shore, you're still going to get torrential rains and a lot of wind. The center winds are between 185 miles per hour and 220 miles per hour. That's at the center. Going out more, yeah, you're still not going to get the strong winds. You can get maybe 50 to 100 mile per hour winds once you start getting more out. And these outer bands there, once they start coming on, you're really not going to see that. You're maybe seeing more tropical storms, say 35 to 74 miles per hour. So that's something right in there. So still, I think this is going to be all through Florida you have to watch out. And the cone of uncertainty, we are going to talk about that now. So let me go back here And now I'm going to bring up the National Hurricane Center. There are a few different other disturbances out there. The orange one you see to the right side of your screen, that's another one that we're going to look at, but not today. We're going to look at later in the future. We're taking this one storm at a time. But the other two areas are still kind of like steering factors. You have the subtropical high that's in the middle of the Atlantic. You also have the weather that's going to be coming in our area in the tri-state tomorrow. That is moving west to east, and that's something that may be a steering factor for Dorian that's going to make it turn north and then northeast, because it's following that motion from the next front system that's going to bring us some thunderstorms for Labor Day. Now, what we're going to do is tap right on here, and with this, once it loads, there we go, we have the cone of uncertainty. So with the cone of uncertainty, it's changed a little bit more. It's moved a little bit more to the west. So here, we have the cone of uncertainty going through central Florida. This is something you have to keep in mind. This cone of uncertainty is uncertain. This is not where the hurricane itself is going to be. This is where the eye will be traveling. So even if we have the eye only touching, just barely scraping the North Shore, or not the North Shore, the East Coast, you're still going to get effects more inland. So I was just in Disney, in Orlando, which is kind of right in the middle of the Florida peninsula there. We have still that cone of uncertainty that's really right in there. So we're going to have that throughout the next couple of days. Now, a couple other things here. I want to bring up the satellite and radar. Or just really the satellite here. And this is water vapor. So with the water vapor, we can really see this huge eye, major eye. And it's well defined right now. So what we're seeing is a perfect sphere in there. That is what is troubling. And we can see when I zoom in really close into there, it has already made landfall. And it's made multiple landfalls. Elbow Key was one of the first landfalls, and then we also have a couple other landfalls, and there's a lot of little islands in the Bahamas, so it's going to be continuously making landfalls here and there throughout the area. But that is just a storm system that you have to keep in mind. It's massive. If you compare this to the size of Florida, it is the size of Florida. The entire state of Florida, this system is that big. And again, between those outer bands and the east coast of Florida, it's only about 70 miles away. That's not far. So you got to keep that in mind. You should have already started storm prep. You have to not underestimate this system. I have a couple of friends that are in Florida. Ooh, I don't know why that changed. Okay. I think I lost my radar. I lost my satellite. Hold on. There we go. So anyway, the storms that you're seeing popping up there, that's normal August, September kind of time of the year for Florida. But I have a couple of friends that were in here, and they were saying they weren't taking it, or at least one of them wasn't taking it seriously whatsoever, until I said, you shouldn't. Do not underestimate this. This is going to be a big storm. And that kind of scared this person straight, I guess you could say. And they started to take it more seriously and started getting more storm prep. So you should have started your storm prep already if you are anywhere in Florida. Not just like southern Florida, but anywhere really. Because if this goes kind of what the National Hurricane Center forecast track is looking like, going west and then making a northward turn, there's not much room there. So if it's going to make a hard 90-degree turn, it's got to start doing that within a very short period of time. Because if it starts making a gradual turn, which is what the National Hurricane Center cone is more suggesting versus the forecast model guidance, which is more of a sharp turn, this gradual turn, because weather doesn't really make sharp turns, you're going to get maybe a little glancing blow or possibly a landfall, which is the eye touching any part of the eye that touches land is considered landfall. That could happen potentially, because look at this. This is moving just due west. That is going to be, that's going to be something you really have to watch out for. And there's really not much else I want to show you guys besides going back to here. This is the last advisory, the 2 p.m. Let me just refresh it, make sure there's nothing else. Yep, so this is the 2 p.m. advisory. Sustained 185 mile per hour winds, movement west, so it's just straight west or due west, 7 miles per hour. It's slowing down. And this is the issue I've seen on some of these forecast models, is it's going to be stalling, and as it's sitting there, it's strengthening a little bit more, which means it could potentially be the strongest hurricane in terms of wind speed ever in history. It's number 2 right now. So that's what I wanted to really just get out there for this next tropical update, not the last tropical update, because we're going to still cover this a little bit more. So now, just keep an eye on there if you happen to know somebody from Florida. If you are from Florida and you're watching me, first, thank you. Hit that subscribe button below and then that little bell icon right next to that so you get notified when I do upload more videos, or I do go live sometimes too. I will be continuously monitoring this. Me and the rest of the meteorologist kind of close-knit group that I have, we're all watching this. So check that out every day. I'm going to have something coming up every day for the next couple of days for this storm specifically. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you are, if you're in this area, taking this storm very seriously. Thank you for watching. This is meteorologist Andrew Pinero. I will see you all in the next video.